is because when I did an assignment of null to this, the result of this expression would be null, which is not false. It's not the same as false, because Java has a proper Boolean type, as opposed to C or C++, where they just reuse integers, basically. So it would actually, it helps you out, it would fail, a syntax error.
So that if statement would fail, it wouldn't return true?
It would not compile.
Oh.
It would not compile because the language says, for an if statement, if, open parenthesis, Boolean expression, close parentheses. And something equal assigned to null is not a Boolean expression. The type of that expression is not Boolean. And the compiler would say you don't have that done there.
Would it also crash or not compile if you were assigning it to another object, like another high-speed object?
It would still fail to compile. Yeah, because the result of that assignment operator would be the type of the assignment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The only time you still have a problem is if this is a Boolean variable, and if this, like if this said error, if you're checking for an error, you say if error single equal false or single equal true, then it would happily assign true to error, and it would say the total result of this expression is true, and it would work. So you can still clobber variables, you just only thing you would clobber are Booleans. So it's a lot safer. You can still break it, but it's a lot safer. Okay, so that's null. Anonymous objects, we already talked about this, so this is just a refresher. This is an example from that auction idea where I can have a lot, an auction lot. I just say further lot equals new lot. And then I have a collection called lots, and I just add the further lot to the lots. Well, if I'm never going to use further lot again in the rest of my code, I really don't need it. I could just do it this way. Lots.add new lot. And you will see this a lot. No pun intended here. Like you will see this a lot. And it's the way people generally write their code. There's one disadvantage to this, but it's usually not a big enough deal that people won't do it. And that is it's a little harder. If you were allowed to use one of those old-fashioned things called an IDE, you would find it harder, a little harder to do the debug. In this case, you could put a breakpoint here, and you can see what kind of lot actually got created before adding it. Here, you don't have any clips. You can't. I don't believe Eclipse lets you break here. Not yet.
So, because like when you declare a further lot, that means that it's empty at that point because it's new, and then you haven't populated it yet. So if you add it down there, you're not adding anything, are you?
No, you almost have that right. If I did not have the new here at all, I would have further lot which pointed to nothing. But then I have new, so I'm actually creating a new lot object. The dots here mean I'm going to pass something. I don't know what it is. That's just,
okay.
That's just pseudocode part here.
Okay.
So the new lot is actually going to construct a new lot object and set it all up with all the right data.
Okay. So that's what it's going to do down there then?
Yeah, it's going to do the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. So as I said, this is easier to debug. So if you're in the middle, oftentimes people write the code this way, but then if they're really stuck on something, they might break it apart like this just for debugging. A nice feature for those of you who think someday of doing C#, Visual Studio, which is the C# tool, is nice because you can put breakpoints on parts of statements. So you can put a breakpoint just on this part as opposed to the whole line. So
if you're feeling nasty, you can actually use the GDB or JDB in this case and just step into that new and figure it out that way.
Yep. Okay. So the third, yes.
So I just want to clarify the new lot with the dots in it. That's not actually something you can do.
You can't just type ...
Okay.
And fill it. Yes.
Just want to make sure.
That would be a nice link.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So new lot ... Just fill it in with all the right stuff. And then it would be nice if you could just put a comment, like process the data, and it would just do that for you. That'd be good until they take over the world. And then all the computers say, I don't need the humans around. Okay.
Program ourselves.
Yes, that's right. Chaining methods. So oftentimes methods return other objects, and sometimes we just want to take the method that got, or the object got returned and call another method on it. For example, here I have bid. What I'm trying to do is find the bidder for the highest bid. And so from lot, I say the lot has a list of bids. I say get the highest bid, that returns a bid, and from that bid I say get the bidder. I want to know who the person was. So I have these two lines of getting a bid and getting a bidder. I could just combine it like this. So with lot, I start with lot, I say get the highest bidder, or get the highest bid. That returns a bid object, but I don't really need it. I'm only using it in transition. And so then from that object gets returned, I call get the bidder. So I can chain this around. And this you can chain for as much as you want to type. Again, this is really common for people to do this for 2, maybe 3 levels. After that, people don't tend to do it so much because this is also hard to debug.
It's also a lot of typing.
And it's a lot of typing, and it's hard to read. You will see, if you want to see good examples of this gone bad, go to Stack Overflow. And you will find lots of people who are super clever at writing code that will write long chain method things. For some reason they think that's the right way to do it.
It's easy for them to read. It's easy for them to read.
Not really, actually. It's easy for them to read when they write it, but after that they probably also lose track. So, as a matter of your own sanity, don't chain a whole bunch of these together. Doing a couple of them is fine. But if you're building a real long chain, then maybe you should rethink what you're doing. Because maybe your program structure is a little complicated, more complicated if you want it to be. Okay. All right. Next topic are arrays. So far when we've been talking about grouping things, it's just been these collection classes. But we can also use arrays, just like you've seen in other programming languages. Sometimes the maximum size can be predetermined, in which case you can use an array. An array is a special fixed size collection. It's not flexible. You can't add more elements to an array. That would be an array list. Arrays are fixed size. And then there's a little bit of special syntax which makes them a little easier to use. So, another example project that I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on, but I can, because I can talk about most of the concepts without needing to see all the code. But a web log analyzer, which is reading a web access log, storing data. Okay, so log analyzer. I'm going to have an array here called hour counts. This is a method inside my class. Here's my constructor. And this square bracket notation here is what indicates it's an array. This is an array of integers. Now notice there's no value here. I don't have a value in this here because at this point I don't tell you the size. So this is where we depart from C++. What I've done in this first line is I told the compiler I have a variable called hour counts, and it is going to be an array of integers. I haven't said anything else. I haven't said the size, and I haven't actually created the array either. I've only said I'm going to have an array called hour counts, an array of integers.
Kind of like a prototype then?
Kind of. It really what happens is arrays are actually objects, and so it's a reference to an object. But the language has built some special syntax around it, so you use square brackets to access things. So generally, people don't even realize or think about them as objects, but they really are. So this just says I'm going to have an array called hour counts. It's going to be an array of integers of some size. Now, down here in my constructor for log analyzer, I actually create the array. Notice I say hour counts equals new, like I was making a new object, int 24. This is where I actually create the array. I create the array and by using new, and I give it a size at this point. Now, after doing this, our counts is an array of 24 integers. And in this case, we'll initialize as 0. Yeah.
So this is almost exactly like using dynamic memory allocation in C++, making an array
Right.
units.
It's almost like making a dynamic array in C++, right?
But you don't have to delete it.
But you don't have to delete it. That's right. Yeah.
I can't run this program. I don't know why.
You can't run which? This?
Yes, I have the
From the book code?
yes. It says that there's one class missing. One class not defined.
Log file readers.
Well, here it would be, so you have to get all of them. All right, let's see.